This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glynn Lavender.
We is recording.
Excellent. Alrighty.
How about I start this time?
Okay, off you go.
Hi, this is Shutters Inc. We're a podcast that sometimes talks about photography. We've done a lot of episodes. This is one of them. I think it's
508.
500 and something. What was that?
508.
This is episode 508. It closely followed up episode 507, which, frankly, I don't think was very good. But I don't remember what we said. I think 506 was pretty good, but I wasn't on it. So, welcome. This is Glynn, and I'm in Melbourne, Australia. And the person who does all the work for this show, so you have him to blame, is Bruce. He's up in Sydney. G'day, Bruce.
G'day, mate. How are you?
That's how you do it, isn't it?
Something like that.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Very.
I got the name in.
Did you?
I've got Shutters Inc. Your name, my name, and the episode number. I mean, what more do you need?
Fair enough.
And realistically,
yeah,
you know, that's in the headline anyway. Shutters Inc.
Yeah.
Episode 508. So if people were looking at it before they clicked, they would have known that anyway. So every time you've said that for the last 508 episodes, completely pointless. It's redundant, Bruce.
Is it?
Well, they know it's Shutters Inc. because they press the button that says Shutters Inc. And the thing at the top said what number episode it was.
Okay.
And there's these doofuses pictures of me and you up there. So, you know, about the only time is this will be like, oh, today we've got Glynn and no Bruce. And that'd be called a no episode because he's on his record.
That's right.
So how have you been, mate? Been good?
It's been a week.
Really? Is that W-E-A-K or W-E-E-K?
Yeah.
Or both?
It's been a week.
Really?
The book that I was all excited about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that anymore.
Oh, how come?
I am so frickin' over it. Yeah. Can't talk out of shop, but let's just say it has dragged on a whole lot longer than it should have, and I'm over it
Talent
now.
issues. So I told you I should have recorded it.
Yeah.
We should do this. This should be our job. You stay at home.
Yeah.
I stay at home. I read the book. You press record.
There you go.
Yeah, your boss will be happy. Yeah,
New business model.
A lot less cost in production and studio.
Yeah.
I could take the photos for the cover.
Yep.
You know, we could do the whole lot. We could be a one-stop shop.
Yeah. Just like the podcast.
Yeah, it's all your shop. Yeah, so it's been a long week. What was the book about again? I can't remember.
Oh, a serial killer.
Oh, really? C-E-R-E-A-L?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, he got killed by Kellogg's.
That's it. So anyway, and then there was the extra frustration of there are 2 product recalls on my Yamaha FJR 1300.
Really?
Yeah.
2?
And so I got in touch with this fairly large motorcycle store in Parramatta in Sydney who are a Yamaha dealer. And even though I didn't buy the bike from them, I said, look, I want to get these 2 product recalls done by your team because I know that you have already done many other bikes for these product recalls, right? So I know that you know what you're doing. So we had organised that I would drop the bike in last Saturday and they would start work on it on Monday. It was going to be a 4-day job and they should have been finished it today, Thursday, as we're recording this. And at about 4:45 on Tuesday afternoon, I get a phone call from the workshop manager who tells me, mate, we haven't started on your bike because the guy who was going to do the job called in sick yesterday and today, and we don't know if he's going to show up tomorrow.
Oh, God.
And so I said, all right, I'll speak to you first thing in the morning, and if you're not going to have it done by the end of the week, then I'll come out on Thursday and pick it up because I need it back. So this morning I had to take a trip out to Parramatta and pick up the bike, and got it scheduled in for another 2 weeks down the track. So that was a little bit frustrating.
It's not like a product recall because the wheels fall off it, is it? Nothing.
Not quite, no.
So personally, I probably would possibly recommend you don't drive it.
Yeah, no, it's fine to drive.
It's not one of those spontaneously combust.
Hopefully not that either.
Don't park too close to houses in case it catches a fire and takes the house down.
Exactly.
Is that what the Hyundais were or something?
That was the Samsung Galaxy 8.
Samsung Galaxy. No, that happened to a couple of cars though. And one of the recommendations were to not park it too close to a house.
Really?
In case, yeah. This was like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those. It might be the Hyundai electric Kona and one or two other ones. Right. There's a problem with the batteries, and so it's really a Philips problem. So Philips makes the batteries.
Oh, okay.
Part of the recall recommendation was not to park too close to your houses.
Wow. Okay.
So, wow, yeah. There's been like 2 in all of the world that's gone on fire. Yes,
right.
Small.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just I thought it's quite a funny part of the recall. Yeah. Don't park too close to the other things. Not to be used for indoor or outdoor use.
Right.
So just to stay safe until you can get a recall, don't use it at all, Bruce. Yeah. So two recalls.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So one's for the second gear, so that and that's why it's a 4-day job, because they've got to take the entire gearbox apart and replace one cog in the gearbox. And then the other one is to do with the rear brake. But neither of these things has caused any issue with my bike, so I don't feel like it's essential, but if Yamaha wants to do it and they're going to pay for it, I'll let them do it. Yeah. So,
and if you don't do it and 10 years down the track you want to go sell the bike and they can tell it hasn't been done, then
exactly.
Good move.
So anyway, so
the week from hell.
But we do have to celebrate.
Do we?
The Kangaroos getting up. Last weekend.
My football team won a game. They won a game, but they came from 32 points behind and got up by 7.
Now, we should stress, that was round 9.
Yeah.
The last time the Kangaroos won was round 9 of 2020.
Yeah.
You went a whole season without a win.
It's like 283 days or something. It's we lost 22 of the last 23 games.
Wow.
But to be fair, it's not that we're a basket case that sounds like, and it's not that we're a basket case like the media's portraying us.
No.
It's simply the fact that, that last year they were in lockdown, which was hard for everybody.
Of course, yep.
And they were away from home, living in motel units or whatever, in a different state. But last year we had 17 injuries and only had like 5 other players to pick from. So we had most of our players are out.
Yeah. Yep.
This year we've got 17 injuries.
Wow.
With things like kidney lumps that could be cancerous, bizarre injuries like torn pectoral muscles, which are like a 3-month injury. Just really weird stuff. But our core of experienced players are like 3. We've got like 3 experienced players in the team. So it's understandable.
For sure.
So, that whole thing about good, we're getting good gains into young and new players, and they get which is great.
Absolutely.
And of course, at the end of last year, our coach tried to kill himself.
Yep.
And so it left the club. But the week before he did that, they got rid of 13 players, and another 2 followed us. So 15 of our 42 list, which is a very substantial portion. So, it's like 10%. Then they get a new coach, all these new players, and then all these injuries again. And the coach is trying to teach a whole new game style. And it's not just the new coach. All the coaches went. All the fitness staff had to be reduced because the caps for non-playing personnel, the financial caps have been reduced. So they have like 1 physio, 1 doctor, 1 support person. All the support network that coaches used to have almost doesn't exist.
Wow.
So everyone's working under extreme pressure.
Yeah.
And then having to try and learn. So they had all these new coaches come in who had to learn what the new head coach wants, and then all the players have got to learn what the new coaches want. And then all the coaches have to learn what the players can do.
Yep.
So it takes time to start to gel.
Absolutely.
So I expect this to be a basket case for a good other year.
Yeah.
Because it's a long, slow process to, when you're coming up against hardened men and massive, massive, strong body, So anyone who doesn't know Aussie rules football, the athletes are some of the fittest, hardest, toughest athletes in team sports in the world.
Yep.
And the impacts which they suffer is substantial.
Yep.
So you put young kids. I took a screenshot of my TV screen on the weekend. There's one of our young, hot new recruits. Looks about 12, right? Standing next to him. He's got to man up against this player from Hawthorn who's all muscles and tattoos and like a shaved head. So I took the screen capture and I said, Dan, are you available to babysit me tonight? It looked like a kid and his uncle, It's just, and then he's going to play against this guy.
Yeah.
So it was a good win. It was nice. I don't want to win too many because if you start winning, you don't get the bottom of the ladder, which we need to get the good picks in the draft.
Right.
So
yep.
It's a delicate balance because we don't want to suffer 22 or 23 weeks losing.
No.
To then lose the potential best player in the draft because you won too many games.
Yeah.
You'd rather suffer for another dozen games this year and get the best talent in the land and build from there. But it was nice to see a win.
Absolutely. So,
good to see the process coming together.
For sure.
And your mob won too, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
And I'm actually going to see my mob this Sunday.
Are they playing in Sydney?
They are in Sydney this weekend playing GWS.
How awesome for you.
Yes.
That's a pretty rare.
We get two West Coast games in Sydney this year. We get this one this weekend against Giants, and then we get another one against the Swans. I think it's early July. So I'm going to get to see two games, which is payback for last year when we didn't get any West Coast games in Sydney.
Yeah. We didn't get many games. We didn't get any games in Victoria at all. You couldn't go to football at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So
anyway, how has your week been?
My week's been okay.
Yeah.
Before, I'd like to dedicate this episode.
Oh yeah.
If I could, and this is I know I was going to do it earlier on
to the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
No, this is a serious one.
Okay.
Not being frivolous for one.
Okay.
But tonight, we're recording on the 20th of May. Tonight marks the 21st anniversary of the death of my mate Mark Bateman, who was a police officer,
right,
and died on the job. So let's dedicate this one to all those people who put their lives on the line for the safety and health of others.
Absolutely, I'm completely behind that. Where was he serving?
He was in Melbourne,
right?
He was in a pursuit in a patrol paddy wagon in a van.
Yep.
And they went around the corner and slightly clipped the car and went sideways, and the car went sideways into a pole. And the only part of the car that hit the pole was the part where the passenger, where the driver of the passenger sit. The rest of the car was pretty much undamaged. So,
wow.
Yeah. So Mark Bateman and Fiona Robertson, senior constables.
Right.
Mark had. His daughter Daisy, who actually plays for North Melbourne Football Club these days.
Right.
She was 1 month old.
Wow.
And had another young kid at home, and Fiona, the other constable in the car, had been married a couple of weeks.
Oh, jeez. And how did you know Mark?
I grew up next door to me.
Oh, right.
And the funny thing is, I hadn't seen Mark since he died. Yeah, funny about that. I hadn't seen any of the Bateman family. Yeah, so they used to live next door. And I went to the football. I took the girls to the football to see Daisy Bateman's 21st. Sort of a, thinking of him kind of thing.
Yep.
Knowing that he couldn't be. Just doing my little bit.
Sure.
And because of COVID, you get given particular seats. You have no choice where you sit.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Where they tell you to sit. So we sat, and it's all separation in those days. It was a month or two ago. It was all keeping social distancing. So it was about 2 rows. There's an empty row between us and the next lot of people. And the next people behind us are holding this big, it happened to be Daisy Bateman's 21st birthday, as I said, holding this big flag saying, "Happy birthday, Daisy." And looked around, and there's this guy sitting there, spinning image of Mark.
Oh, wow.
And it's his brother, his younger brother, who I grew up with as well, of course. And I hadn't seen him in like 30 years. I've turned around and just to make sure, I said, "You're a Bateman, aren't you?" And he goes, "Glenn." He hadn't seen me at least at least 30, 35 years, and he would have been he probably would have been 10 himself at the time, or 12.
Yeah, right.
Recognise me. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Bruce. But that sounds kind of cool. So anyway, so tonight, it just came up on my Facebook feed today, just before we're recording.
Yeah.
It's feeling a little melancholy, so I thought we'd put it out there. And if you happen to live in Portland, Victoria, your helipad, your emergency helicopter pad at the hospital is named after Mark. So
Yeah, right.
thank you to all those who do what they do.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. Other than that, I did a workshop on the weekend. The first one in 14, 15 months or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I drove for about 8 hours to do a 6-hour workshop.
That's right. Did you end up in the right town, though?
Eventually I did. But here's this. Get this. This is how far to country Victoria I went, Bruce.
Yeah.
I was so far in country Victoria that I saw a man wearing a cowboy hat, non-ironically.
Nice.
Bang, way out in the countryside. It's like, this guy standing in front of me at the service station. It's like, look at that way out. It's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
So I was somewhat rusty.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember what, because I did the normal thing. I don't bother looking at the slides before I go do the presentation to remember what they say. So every next slide was a surprise for all of us, which is pretty good.
Excellent.
And and I have things in my presentation like it'll be just like a 3-word slide, just 3 words on it.
Yeah.
And I'll be going, gee, I wonder what comes next. So they kind of got that I was a bit rusty, so that was pretty good. And the day went well. Yeah, the model showed up, so she was my favourite kind of model.
Yep.
I tell you, I was tired afterwards. Oh, man, I had to drive home. I had to have 2 nano naps on the way home to make sure I didn't drive off the road.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah, because it was night time by the time I was driving home. And one of them I actually, don't tell the missus, but I actually nodded off whilst driving at 110 kilometres an hour.
Oy, oy, oy.
Woke up and then pulled over the nearest, and it wasn't one of those just tiny little fall. It was a good.
Wow.
Well, not quite.
That's not good.
We're close enough.
No,
it wasn't good. So I pulled over and had the 20-minute nap.
Yeah.
But I had to have 2 of them on the way back because I was that tired.
Yeah, right.
But it got home safe and sound.
That's good.
And all fine and dandy. So yeah,
Excellent.
that's it. That's my week. Yeah, I am booked to be a lighting specialist for a shoot on Monday night coming up. So after I set up all the lighting and provide the model for a guy to take photographs for a competition.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
I'll set everything up. He goes click with his point and shoot camera. We do a few other poses and then we all go home. Except for him whose house it is. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a bit underhanded, isn't it?
Well, I'm getting paid, so not to me.
No, for you it's not.
It's all relative. It is odd.
Yeah.
But then again, not every workshop, but a lot of my workshops, I hear people tell me how they won competitions with the images they shot at my workshops.
Oh, really?
Happens all the time.
Wow.
I see people get international awards.
Yeah.
With photos that, effectively, it was my photo that they pressed the button. That's what floats you. I don't care. It doesn't worry me. It's not.
As you say, you're getting paid. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm not precious about any of that sort of stuff. You know, they could steal one of my photos off the internet and submit it. And I wouldn't mind. Who cares? So that was it. And then I had 2 consulting jobs for Monday and one of them fell through, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
One was a lighting. I'm not sure I mentioned it last week. A lighting consultant for how to photograph painting accessories.
Right. Yes, you did mention that. Yeah.
So it turns out the poor guy is so overwhelmed, and he can't get any answers from the people, his dealers who he supplies the product to for what they need for the website as far as dimensions and looks and so on. So,
what?
But he's got over 3,500 items need photographing.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Oh, my God. So I said, just put them all in a couple of big boxes, send them to me. I'll photograph them all over a couple of weeks. Give myself a nice couple of weeks' wages. Yeah. And but haven't heard back. But I get to sleep in on Monday, which is good. So Because, working so hard.
Yeah.
It's my youngest daughter's 10th birthday party on Saturday. So
excellent.
And she's having a party at home, movie party. So I've been out trying to get props and doing all sorts of weird and wacky stuff this week to make it special for her. So after you've had a bunch of little kids in your house, I'll need Monday to have a bit of a nap.
Oh, I think you will. Yeah.
Yeah, so just trying to convince my wife to go to work in her office in Sydney. So there's no evidence of just how long that nap went for.
Excellent idea.
Yeah, when they turn it to 4 or 5 hours, there tends to be some objection because nothing else got done.
Right.
Don't see why.
Anyway.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
So, what have you got to talk about? And then we'll talk about the stuff I want to talk about.
Okay, well, I only came up with 2 things today.
That's actually why I wanted you to go first, because I think it would.
Yeah. So the first is that it looks as though Instagram might be going to bring to market the ability to upload images from your web browser. So for those who like to post to Instagram, and I'll put my hand up there and go, I don't mind every now and again. It's one of the frustrations that at the moment you can only upload via your mobile device. I think a lot of people would like to be able to do some post-production on their photos at their desktop or laptop and then simply upload the finished product from there straight to Instagram. And of course, at the moment, that's not available, but it turns out that they are currently testing it in-house. It's beta only for people who work at Instagram, but it would suggest if they are working on it, then there's a fairly high likelihood that somewhere down the track we will actually see that feature rolled out, which would be good.
Well, every now and then they do. I've had access in the past to upload directly to a computer.
Right. There is a hack which I use all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this works in all browsers, but it certainly does work in Chrome. If you create a new tab and you go to your Instagram account and, you've obviously got to be logged in, but then you right-click on the white space of the page, and from the pop-up menu, the very bottom option says Inspect. And when you click on Inspect, you get the inspector window appears on the right-hand side of the browser, but you then have the ability to view your Instagram feed the way it appears on a mobile device. And I don't know if this is the same for everybody, but when I first do it, the mobile displayed version of my Instagram feed comes up in the left-hand side of the browser window, but it doesn't have the buttons across the bottom. But all you do is then hit F5 in your browser, and that refreshes the page, and then you get the upload button as well. And so then you can just hit upload, and then you get a standard, in my case, Windows dialog box that allows you to point to whatever folder you've got your image in, and then you select your image and off you go. So that certainly works in Chrome. Like I said, I don't know if it works in other browsers or if it's only applicable to Chrome, but that's how I post my images to my Instagram account.
I have to upload my photo to Facebook, then copy it onto my phone, then upload it.
Oh, geez, that's tedious.
It's a complete pain in the bum.
And the thing is, Facebook is going to recompress the image that you've uploaded.
Exactly. Yeah,
so by the time you've got it to Instagram, it's like third generation.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
So it tends to make my photos look better. and if they look crap, then I've got an excuse.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yes, that's the algorithms. They crunch out. They've taken out all the good pixels of all the good stuff. No, there's the bad ones behind.
That's it.
I hate it when they do that. Just leave all the boring stuff, all the good stuff that was in the photo. It's on my computer. You should see it. It's brilliant.
So if that feature does come somewhere down the track, that will be a blessing for many. And the other story that I came across was another photographer we can add to the list of people we don't like. This is a very creative collection of images. A photographer looks at you through animals' eyes in these creative self-portraits. So Flora Borsey is her name, and they are all self-portraits, but with different animals included in the shots, and just, obviously some great post-production work going on here, but very clever. Just the concept.
What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, no,
I reckon the puffin one is brilliant.
The puffins are there, but do you reckon that's a separate shot of a puffin?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them were actually shot with her and the animal. I reckon all of them are.
I mean, the lighting is so damn close on them.
It certainly does. It does look...
But it's certainly not the fish. Yeah,
no.
It's definitely... But my favourite actually is the beetle.
Oh, yeah. Right.
The beetle for the eye.
Yep.
The beetle and the leaves.
Yep.
Yeah. That's really... It's freaky.
It's very clever stuff.
Very cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's really caught the attention of the comment section too.
Oh, of course it has. do share some of the comments with us.
0 comments.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's because someone who's actually got talent has put something up. So what happens? Boom.
Yes.
Goes nowhere. No,
all the keyboard warriors concede defeat.
Yeah, there's no point. Oh, I could have done that better. Well, you didn't. Yeah, but I could have. Yeah. What camera was that used with? Yeah. all the stuff that they're gone about. How many pixels is that photo? Is gone. So they've got nothing. They've got nothing. And it's like all the good stuff getting put up gets no comments.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, great collection of images. I highly recommend checking them out.
I posted 2 images on my Facebook just tonight.
Oh, okay.
From the 1920s.
Right.
And one of them.
Look, I knew you were old, but really?
Oh, I know. One of them is from a policeman hanging from a rafter on a building like 30 stories high.
Doesn't that go against the community standards, mate?
Those old classic New York photos with the guy standing on the girders.
Yeah.
Yeah, the construct building. So it's like that kind of shot. But so he's basically, those guys now go doing headstands on top of tall buildings for Instagram photos. So he came up with that stuff,
right?
Kicking their ass 100 years ago. And the other one was 4 guys doing a selfie.
With a box camera.
With a box camera, 100 years ago.
I love it.
They invented the selfie. It's just a classic.
That's epic.
So I thought they were pretty funny.
That's great.
So I saw those. It started me to prompt to think, well, what other old stuff is out there that's interesting? So I went to the Guggenheim, not physically, because I was online. Bruce.
Yes.
And they've got 60,000 free books of all sorts of subjects. And I found a photography book by Arthur Conan Doyle.
Wow.
Exactly. So I put a link there if anyone wants to download it.
Now, the link says Gutenberg, not Guggenheim.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
you want me to be literal and specific and accurate. Well, we better go back to podcast episode 1 and start all over again. If that's what you're after.
I think we had. We better take everything offline and start from scratch.
So anyway, the Arthur Conan Doyle book is The Case for Spirit Photography by Arthur Conan Doyle. So that's kind of interesting. With corroborative evidence by experienced researchers and photographers. There we are.
Right.
That's free to download. Should you feel from the Gutenberg, which is not the Guggenheim or the Google.
Yeah.
But I did find one that was not as non-facetious, which is airplane photography from 1920.
Wow. That would have been cutting edge for its
not very
day.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Photography's not very, and flying's not very old. So you're putting those two things together.
Yeah.
So it's done by Herbert E. Ives.
Yeah.
It's Major Aviation Section, Signal Officers, Reserves Corps, United States Army, lately officer in charge of Experimental Department, Photographic Branch, Air Service. Experimental Department, Photography.
Wow.
Which is fabulous. And it's dedicated to my wife, a helpful critic, even though she neither photographs nor flies. But it was pretty cool. And I haven't read through it, but I mean, there's some pretty cool looking pictures by itself.
Yeah.
But I reckon if you were interested in this type of photography, it'd be really cool to go back and read what the challenges were like they had to deal with, and actually be able to capture these shots.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Once again, free download.
Yeah. Nice.
But then I found some tips from the past.
Oh, okay.
I know how much the podcast loves a good tip.
Yes.
So I'm going to read a few out. There'll be a link to the book at the end.
Okay.
So the first one is gear, the eternal question of gear.
Yep.
Okay. The first question, invariably asked, is as to the nature of the outfit required. We should here like to divide our reply into two divisions, the one concerning the mountaineer and the other the ordinary tourists. For the former, we have no doubt in our minds that a hand camera to take a quarter plate or 5x4 pictures is the most convenient form of camera to take.
Okay.
So what we would consider to be a large format camera these days is their little hand camera they recommend taking.
Yep.
This is from 1898, with the 12x10 camera being the more convenient for the tourist.
Right.
So that's a 12x10 inch plate.
Yeah, right.
Which is, and it goes on, with some hand cameras, there is a means of attachment to a stand. But a stand on a mountain is difficult to use and, moreover, has on more than one occasion been proved to be dangerous to carry. The mountaineer, if he desires to give a time and not an instantaneous exposure on his excursion, would do well to have a small clip ready to attach to the head of his ice axe. So you put your ice axe and then you mount your camera to your ice axe.
And you use your ice axe as a monopod. Right.
The usual method of holding the hand camera would, under such circumstances, prove a failure so far as sharpness of image is concerned. Pressed against his middle or upper chest, the beatings of the heart will record themselves on the photograph. Under such circumstances, a resort must be had to some form of support under which the camera is to be rested. After many years of experience, the writer has come to the conclusion that there is no support superior to the ice axe. So there you go.
Somebody needs to tell Manfrotto that.
But putting the camera to your chest and recording the heartbeats.
Yeah.
The photograph. There was one which I haven't copied it. People can go and read it through and find it, where it's saying that in this particular circumstance you can handhold it because the heartbeats do not resonate through the fingers.
Right.
So it'll be steadier.
Yeah.
I like this one. This is a little excerpt as I was going along. Photographers in England are rarely afflicted with breathlessness through exertion.
Is he saying they're lazy?
Maybe because their mountains aren't high enough. I don't know. But,
I think he's saying English people are lazy.
That's what I'm pretty picking up on, So here's another. There is not a large proportion of alpine views taken on the mountainside of which one would care to have anything but a memorandum. There's no photos you could take up a mountain that'd be of any worth other than just a snapshot.
Clearly not a landscape lover.
Surely the point of going up there is to see stuff, not just to go up there.
You would have thought
so. And then looking at things like composition and how to photograph, I thought was interesting.
Right.
What was it like 123 years ago? And some of this was really good. So not all being facetious. So this one, when we look at a powerful and impressive picture, we feel at once the sentiment. Our emotions are at once stirred. Subsequently, we recognize objects and facts portrayed, but only when we begin to look for them or think about them. But a gross exaggeration or a very obvious error strikes us at once before we begin to receive sentiments and ideas, and that error or exaggeration once seen is never lost sight of, and the whole enjoyment of the picture is hopelessly marred.
Okay.
So he's saying, you've got this fabulous picture, and then you've got this one element so incongruent to what you're trying to say in the image,
right,
that you can't help but look at it.
Yep.
And it ruins the entire picture because you didn't take the time to craft your shot better.
Right.
Yeah, which is still a salient point when we're learning photography. This is
absolutely
the big goal. The big step we have to get past is the crap that we leave in our photographs that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
And it says here, and I love this one. This is probably the best description I've ever heard. in removing distractions. Okay, it's my headlines, removing distractions. The painter and photographer start from two opposite standpoints. The painter or draftsman starts with nothing but blank paper, and having built up his picture and produced his desired effect, he elaborates no further. The photographer, with his more or less mechanically produced facsimile, starts from the opposite extreme with a transcendently elaborate image from which he will be required to eliminate all such excess of truth as is likely to force the mere facts of the view upon the beholder's attention.
Nice.
So again, eliminating all that is, yeah. So a painter, you get to choose what you include.
Yeah.
You just simply don't paint the thing in that's distracting. But a photographer, doesn't have that luxury necessarily. But I would say maybe in the modern day photography we do, because we can see the scene. And I was saying this on the weekend of the workshop. Sometimes we have to include the thing we don't want in the shot to make sure the rest of the composition works. But in the shooting, we know full well in Photoshop we're going to clone that out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that's like the painter leaving that element out. And that's his choice not to paint it in there. But we have to take it one step further. But again, it's a matter of seeing what we're trying to say in the photograph and removing all those elements that aren't important in the shot.
Yeah.
And it's that old saying about the guy who asked Michelangelo how does he carve statues out of those big blocks of marble. And Michelangelo just simply said, well, I just carve away everything that's not the statue. Yeah, which is fairly succinct, but it's true. What makes a great photograph? Well, when you eliminate everything that's not the great photograph.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, just what's left is the great photograph. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty good for some things just don't change.
Yeah.
Composition, however, now we did go into more detail, but this is how we started. In this, we have one of the first rules in composition, namely that the principal object should be near the centre. And the next most important, near to, and as it were, supporting it. And no object likely to attract the eye should be so near the edge of the picture as to make us instantly conscious of the boundaries and wish to see more beyond.
Right.
So, everything should be in the middle, and don't have anything interesting towards the edge of the frame. Because, what is over there? Yeah, he eventually goes on, because he's trying to teach new photographers.
Right.
And he builds up to different compositional ideas.
Yeah.
One of my favourite areas, of course, was I had to go look at the portraits.
Of course.
Recommendations for portraits, because as you know. So here's a good tip. I'm going to take this straight into my photography.
Right.
A headrest should not be used unless absolutely necessary. And few photographers are aware how easily it can be dispensed with, and fail to realise how strong an objection nearly every sitter has to it. So when you're taking your photograph, maybe doing your next headshot, don't put them in a headrest that restricts movement of their head. That's good tip, Bruce. So he says here, it's far better to have an occasional plate spoiled by working without the rest than to make every sitter uncomfortable by its use.
Fair enough.
Now, of course, back in those days, the exposures might have been 10 seconds long. So hence the headrest, so you don't move your heads. And then when taking portraits in an ordinary room, it is usual to place the sitter near the window. This is good stuff again, by the way. Place the sitter near the window so that one side of the face is strongly lighted and the other in deep shadow. And then use a white reflector to light up the shadow side. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Nice and simple. It's often better when the window is a large one to place the sitter farther back in the room, almost facing the window, and put the camera near the middle of the window looking into the room. Again, great advice, because if the window's big enough, you're not going to be blocking any substantial light by standing there.
Yep.
And they're going to have this great big massive softbox basically filling their face.
Yep.
So again, pretty good advice. So just giving two really good lighting tips for two great looking portraits in one sentence, which is pretty good. For outdoor portraits, a shady corner is best. So put them in the shade, don't put them in the sun. And if possible, where the side light is much subdued on one side. And a light head shade may be used with advantage. So, something that blocks a bit of light coming on can be good. A bit of shadow. Even in the shade, you want to have some difference between one side of the face and the other. That's pretty good. But here's something I think we've given up doing. A large grey rug out of focus makes a good background. Now, I can't remember the last time I seen a photographer put a rug up behind a subject as a background. I mean, who's going to roll up a big rug and take it with them? I mean, really, it's quite ridiculous. But a blanket, by the way, is too light. So that's why they went the rugs, because the blankets are too light. The light comes through it, and you doesn't block out light well enough. So very interesting stuff. Ultimate success, by the way, often depends less on knowing what to take and how to take it than on a well-trained judgment which knows what is good or bad when we have taken it.
Nice.
Good advice again, Yeah. So, I would even go so far as to say before we take it. Knowing what's good and what's not good before you take it is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So there's a link there to that little one. And then I thought that's some pretty cool stuff there. Then I came across this futuristic book,
right,
which is more a bit of science fiction fantasy for this one who likes to read, and that has something about photography. It's called The Prophetic Camera.
Oh.
And it's apparently this camera that can photograph the future.
Right.
It sounds like a bit like a Twilight Zone episode, which I thought was pretty good. And then this one here, Tom Swift and his Wizard Camera. There's another book on that includes photography as part of its stuff.
Right.
This is sort of magic photography. Well, magic photography is part of it, but this one's teaching you how to take a photograph, using a particular technique and paper and paper, and rolling it up inside a cigar, like a cigar holder.
Okay.
And then you blow smoke through the cigar holder, and the chemicals in the smoke from the cigar develop the photograph.
Wow.
Okay. So the magic trick is you show someone that there's nothing inside there, then you light up the cigar, take the puff, and you take the holder off, and there's a photograph inside.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. And there's all sorts of other tricks in this thing about which is, once again, spirit photography and all sorts of things. And I thought, there's all sorts of ideas like how to do silhouette photos, how to do just a gamut of weird and unusual photography, which I'm sure, and I haven't gone through all of it, but I'm sure there's going to be stuff in there that people aren't doing anymore.
Yeah,
and there
right.
could be some cool little projects there to do. Yeah, this is like photographs on silk,
right,
and photographing onto different fabrics, all sorts of cool stuff that might be of interest. Who is one? Photographing the invisible.
Right.
Curious and interesting experiment based upon a peculiar property possessed by fluorescent substances of altering the refrangibility of the chemical light rays. Take a colourless solution of bisulfate of quinine and write or draw with it on a piece of white paper. When dry, the writing or design will be invisible, but a photograph made of it will show them very neatly in black, or very nearly black. That's
wow.
Interesting. How to make a photograph inside a bottle. Photographs in any colour. I want all red, please. A disappearing photograph, so it makes it so this photograph just disappears as you're moving around. Freak pictures with a black background. That's kind of what I do. Oh, this one's got head chopped off. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. This one's a head in a wheelbarrow. It's a very large head.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of bizarre things from 120 years ago for what people are experimenting doing with photographs.
Yeah, nice.
So I thought, here's how to do character photographs. I thought it could be kind of fun for people who want to know. Maybe they're doing a 365 project and they're running out of ideas.
Yep.
There's all sorts of crazy and interesting stuff,
That's cool.
Bizarre. And once again, we look at where our industry has come from. Is really quite fascinating. So so that was it. That's all the research I did for the week. Was I just mucked around by looking at interesting, cool stuff from the past.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
I was a little worried that it might kind of bring down the tone of the podcast. Talking about photography and stuff. But, once every 100 episodes is probably okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Do it too often, we'll lose too many listeners. But, I thought that was pretty cool. And that was it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We've done well.
So you got any more workshops lined up this week?
Not this week, no. I've just taken on a July 17 workshop for another camera club.
Nice.
And I'm probably doing my first CPW one on the end of July. I'm contemplating starting them from July. So I'm planning my European holiday.
Right.
And I need money. Money helps. So I thought maybe if I worked, I could get some.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah, no, so it's a novel concept, but we'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how it works, Bruce, in this world.
Absolutely.
Because I tell you, I'm winning though at the cryptocurrency.
Are you?
Winning. Oh yeah. If it's a race to the bottom, I'm halfway there, Bruce. I'm halfway there.
It's certainly looking like the top came a little earlier than I thought it was going to.
Oh, it's a mere hiccup. It's a mere hiccup, Bruce.
I don't know about that.
No, it is.
I'm looking at Ethereum now. It's at $3,500. It was over $5,000, a week ago.
Yeah. It's down $2,000, but that's okay because Bitcoin was down 30. So it's a mere blip in the road, mate. You watch in 6 weeks' time, it will be back up.
Well, we'll see.
This is not financial advice, but don't sell whatever you do. Buy if you. I bought in more today.
Bought more. If you're looking to buy some Bitcoin, Glynn's got some to sell you.
No, I'm buying. I'm buying, though. I'm buying.
Right. Okay.
I invested more money today. Hey, but the prices they're at.
Yeah.
Look, I haven't bought in Bitcoin because the amount of money I'm investing is so it wouldn't even buy me a 15th of a coin.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's the whole point, though. You can still buy Bitcoin. You can buy it like a millionth of a coin.
Yeah, but the problem is the potential return is so small.
No, the return is still the same regardless of how much you bought.
No, it's not. If I buy let's say I buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up, doubles in value.
Yeah,
about $200. Okay. Yeah. If I buy $25 of 4 coins that look like they're way down, and could triple or quadruple or more in value, because we're talking they're so cheap. Well, if I quadruple instead of double, I'm making more money.
Oh, absolutely. I thought you were saying that buying a small amount of Bitcoin is not the same as buying a large amount.
I'm looking at retiring, Bruce. I can't afford to buy $10 of Bitcoin and try and hope to retire from there. That's not going to happen.
Right.
But there's ones that I know are going to be successful based on what they're bringing to market and what they're looking at doing, and they've plummeted. Not just 40%. They've dropped maybe 60, 70%. Well, it's time to buy. Yeah. Especially I've already invested in them, so I'm buying more as they go down. So my overall exposure across all, I've bought one coin 5 times now. Yep. Yeah. So and different drops. So now my overall cost is low.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they go up, whoosh, I'm in the fake money. I'm in the fake money. But here's the thing: my wife, she's in the financial world.
Yeah.
She gave me some what she thought was good financial advice today. I personally refused to heed it.
Right.
A, because she said it. B, because I'm male. Apparently, having your cryptocurrency wallet open and spinning to see if it's changed every 12 seconds isn't sound financial future proofing advice. Yeah, you should maybe just don't look at it every 12 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone down 6 cents. Oh, it's gone up 12 cents. Oh, it's gone down 3. Apparently, that's not a way to invest.
Right.
Yeah. Unless you're a day trader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so if anyone's got some cryptocurrency they want to sell at 1/10 of what it's selling for at the moment, I'll take it. I'll take it all.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
All right, matey. Will you have a good week?
I shall. And next week I'll report on the lighting fiasco, taking photos.
Excellent.
See how it went. Yeah.
Look forward to it.
See if I earn my money or not. I might try and do a few sneaky seek photos myself, just for the sake of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and see if they're any good.
Cool. All right, mate. Talk to you then.
Well, it's been lovely, everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye. This is episode 508, signing off.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.